Hello everybody, Tommyruin here, and welcome back to another video. Now, I said that there wouldn't be any videos until September, but there's some good and bad news, I guess. The work experience which I was expecting to go on actually fell through. They couldn't get security clearance, so that's no longer happening, which is bad news for me because I was really excited for it, but it also means that I can potentially make more videos again. So good news for you guys. I am still going to be having a job in the next few weeks, so my content will be coming out at a slower pace because I will be working a lot of the weekdays, but I will still be able to put out some content when I can. This video is going to be talking about what has gone down in the last week because it has been a very busy week for me on Ascension. It's been a massive race to get to level 60 as well as organising events for the guild and everything like that. So in this video I'm just going to go over what has happened in the last week in terms of me leveling up, the builds I was using, all the stuff that I got up to, and then Molten Core, which went down yesterday night. So stay tuned if you want to hear about our attempt at Molten Core. So in the last video I put up, I said that I was leveling as a bear, and I did this up until around level 20, and at that point it was going quite slowly. And I knew that I had to be level 60 quite quickly because Molten Core was coming out. So I decided that I needed to change up what I was doing and try and find a quick and efficient way up to level 60. So around level 24 I think it was, I switched to some kind of AoE blizzard build, and that lasted about 10 minutes before I got bored with AoE farming at that low level. It is really dull and really inefficient. I really don't recommend it above questing for those lower levels. But I switched again, and I think, to be honest, I had a bit of a level 20, I had a bit of a mid-level 20s crisis because I think I did about 12 resets between level 20 and 30, and I tried multiple different things. I tried doing Frosty Paws again, but I wasn't really keen on it. I'd done it before and I wanted to do something new. I tried doing my Bloodzerker build again. I wanted to do something new. And then I tried 2 AoE grinding builds and it just wasn't for me. And I ended up settling on a kind of rogue build, but it also had a pet with it. So it was a rogue build that used backstab and ambush for the really high damage that those abilities have, while a pet tanked for me. So I had a little pet tanking for me. I was running around in stealth with this pet running beside me, which was fun for PvP, but I'll get onto that later. And I sent in the pet and then went behind the target in, backstabbed and ambushed it, which did have some threat problems because I was doing a lot of damage with those abilities. It just meant that I had to use Feign Death during combat to reduce the threat which I was generating. But it was really, really fun, and if you guys are looking for a fun leveling build that is good for leveling and for PvP, then that is a really big recommendation for you. And I'll put a link to a build guide which was made by a guildie of mine who recommended the build to me in the description, so you guys can see what kind of thing it is looking like. But it was basically Hemocleave, the meme that is Hemocleave, without hemorrhage and more backstab ambush based. So you're doing stealth and you're letting your pet go in, and then your pet takes the aggro and you backstab and kill them pretty quickly. It's normally like a 1 or 2 shot kill. And you can also do some good cleave with cleave, funnily enough.
No shit.
So I leveled up with that, and as I was leveling up, I did a lot of PvP. One thing which I really enjoy on Ascension is PvP. I'm no good at it, but it's a lot of fun. And if you're no good at PvP, then I think Andahor is probably the better place to go because you won't lose anything when you're leveling up, which is ideal for me. So I was running around, and the best thing about the build which I was using was the fact that I did have a pet, because people thought they knew I was coming. So they'd see my pet just standing still, and they'd go up to it and they'd be like, I actually can't find Tommy, where is he? Because it would say Tommyruin's pet underneath its name or whatever. And what I've really done is put the pet on stay, and they go up and like attack my pet waiting for me to come out, but realistically I've been circling in behind them like the sneaky bastard that I am and just two-shotting them with ambush. So that was great fun. A bit sneaky, but it was good fun. That is my secret which I've just revealed to you all. So if you do see my pet standing still, you got to watch out because you don't know where I will be. But yeah, so I did a lot of PvP. A lot of the times I was successful. Some of the times I was really not very successful. I tried to gank a bear, like a Life's Bear build druid. I tried to gank someone who was using Life's Bear build, and that really didn't end very well. A lot of health is not good when all you've got in your arsenal is ambush and backstab, because you can't really dictate whether you stand behind a player or not. So I ended up getting destroyed by the bear build, and then getting chased around for about half an hour while I was trying to hand in quests. So that was good fun. I learned a lesson though. So I leveled up from level 30 odd. I think it was actually level 25 or 26 that I started this build. I started at level 26 and ended this build at level 50. And I leveled all the way using it through all the zones. I had absolutely no problem. I think the hardest thing was probably getting hold of daggers to start with, because you don't normally find many daggers. But yeah, I had a blast doing it, and it probably was one of the funnest builds which I've done leveling up, because you are so viable in PvP, and if you pick up a few abilities like Death Coil and Feign Death you have, so you can re-stealth and ambush again, then you are pretty good in PvP. So I do recommend that if you do enjoy some PvP and want to backstab some people, then it is definitely recommended. But at level 50, I think it was Friday or Thursday that it got, and I was at level 50, and I was like, shit, 10 more levels and I've got to be level 60 by Saturday, because that's when we'd organised our Molten Core guild run with Harbingers and Deep Run. That's when we'd organised that run, and I was a bit worried that I wasn't actually going to get to level 60 before we started, so I wouldn't actually be able to be there. So I decided to switch it up. I knew my build wasn't the most efficient for leveling. It was great fun, but it wasn't necessarily efficient, because you can't pull multiple mobs at once and you're quite squishy. So I decided to copy my boy Life, his bear build, his grinding build, and just grind the last few levels, proper live to win style, which turned out very well. I got 5 levels on the Thursday, and then another 5 levels on the Friday. I ended up getting from 50 to 60 in 2 days, which I thought was actually pretty good. I did get some help in the last 2 levels from a guildmate Tech, who helped me farm the elites in Tyr's Hand. That provided a lot of good experience. I think I was getting like 1% every few mobs, so it was really quick there. And if you guys are looking to boost up friends for those last few levels and want to get them to level 60 quickly, then I do recommend taking that farm spot, because it is pretty damn good. It gives you some good experience, some good gold, a hell of a lot of rune cloth if that's what you're into. It's a really good place to grind. So I got to level 60, and they'd kind of screwed up really, Ascension, because they somehow managed to purge people of their druid talents and not refund them for them. So they had tried to make amends by putting up a free reset NPC and a free tome NPC, so someone who gave you the max rank of the abilities that are available. So what I really wanted to do was get to level 60 and have 2 specs fully tomed up by the time the NPCs went away. So I really had to bust my balls and get to level 60 before that, and also get 1,000 gold to get dual spec. And I did manage to do that. I now have a farming spec and a healing spec at level 60 ready to go, which is nice. It means that I can grind some gold and get more stuff done instead of just running around in a healing spec, which is really useful, especially now that the tome person's gone, because a lot of the tomes are quite expensive. So come Saturday night, we were in Molten Core, and a lot of people were saying that they didn't think we'd get 40 people for Molten Core. And I'd just like to say, we had more than 40 people waiting to go into Molten Core. We had people who were too late and actually couldn't get in because we had too many people there. But the Molten Core event didn't start very well. We were locked out of the instance because they had set it to have 25 players allowed in when it was meant to be 40. I think that's some kind of problem with Sargeras, because they have 25-man Molten Core. So they made a quick fix, and we all managed to get in after about an hour wait. So we lost an hour of progression, but to be honest, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter, because we absolutely steamrolled the first 4 bosses that we did. I think we did about 3 hours of raiding, and we got 4 bosses down. This is first tries on all the bosses. We managed to kill them, even though one of the mechanics we fucked up really badly. We didn't realise that we had to kite Magmadar because of the fire which he spawns, because it doesn't despawn for a very long time. So we had to kind of make amends halfway through that fight and keep going on that. But it turned out quite well, and everyone got good loot. Well, some really nice healing loot, actually. I was quite pleased. I managed to get my tier 1 pants for the priest set, as I'm going for like a crit priest healer using Surge of Light and Greater Heal and is it Serendipity? I don't know. I'm using a crit-based healer, using Flash Heal and Greater Heal and Circle of Healing, so I got some really nice loot for that spec, and I'm looking forward to getting the rest of that Priest Tier 1 set, hopefully in the future. But you'll see some of the bosses in the video. They were tuned, I think, for 25 players, so we were quite over the odds with 40 men in the raid. We were definitely overmanned for it, and we could probably do it with 25 players. But it was nice to get people in there and actually get some bosses down instead of having 25 people struggle on the bosses. A lot of the mechanics, as I said before, are different to what you would find on a regular stock vanilla server, as they've changed them to make it so that you can... They are harder for people who have all the abilities, kind of thing. And that definitely told with people who hadn't done the Ascension mechanics before. We were quite lucky because there was a few of us in the raid, including myself, who had done the Ascension mechanics for Molten Core, so I managed to help people learn the mechanics for that. But if you did not know those mechanics, then it probably would be a lot harder than what you were expecting to go into. I know there would be people who haven't taken certain abilities that they need to, like Tranquilizing Shot and Banish especially. They're two must-have abilities in Molten Core. But I think it went very well, and we are looking forward to doing more raids in there. I think we're actually thinking about splitting into 2 raid teams because we've got so many people, but we're looking forward to that. But I thought I'd just let you know what's gone down in this last week. It has been very, very hard work for me. I've been trying to get to level 60, and I've also been finishing up work from my project that I was on for 6 weeks. So I'm just glad that I've got to level 60. Everything's going to settle down a little bit now. And yeah, I can probably hopefully start making videos for you guys. But thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little ramble for about 10 minutes now. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all very soon.